Good morning. Yes, we're going to be looking at some of these details again about the races that God wanted to bless. When they came against enemies, then God said, well, these have got to be defeated if you're going to get to the land of Israel before you enter the land of Israel and then replace the tribes which are already there. But when they come across the Edomites, God says, now you be careful with the Edomites because they are in fact the descendants of Esau. And being the descendants of Esau, I have made them promises, and I want to relate to them, and I want you to relate to them as well, because my blessing is upon these people. So when you go through their land, you're not to go through in a warlike fashion. You're to go through peacefully, and you're not to cause them any trouble as you go through. Similarly, when he comes to the Moabites, he says to Moses, now you be careful how you treat the Moabites, because these are the descendants of Lot. And again, I have made them promises, and I'm going to protect them as well. So when you come to their land, you must be careful how you treat them, and treat them with respect, and not cause them any trouble as you pass through their territory. So you see, it's not just enemies that Moses is dealing with. He's dealing with other tribes as well. And I think this is a lesson we can learn even from the present day as we look at the land of Israel. See, the land of Israel at the moment is literally surrounded by enemies, people who are literally threatening to destroy them and drive them back into the sea. People who are saying as soon as we get the right weapons or the right support, we are going to attack you. We are going to destroy you. And I think Israel has to defend itself against these people and say, if you're coming close to attacking us, then we are not going to wait for it to happen. We might, in fact, strike first. For instance, Tehran is saying to them very simply, as soon as we get the atomic bomb, we're going to use it. We're going to use it against you. Now, can you imagine us living in this country and another country close by says, we are about to develop an atomic weapon, and when we get it, we're going to use it against you. You know, we would say to our government, for goodness sake, carry out a preemptive strike to try and stop this happening. And in a sense, that's what we're seeing in the news all the time with Israel. Sometimes the enemies build up great armaments and great places where they can attack from. And Israel will literally send in his planes and destroy those places before they can be used. See, people have a right to defend themselves. But on the other hand, Israel is now looking around and finding around it, it has certain people that they want to relate to and make truces with and make treaties with, people who are in fact friendly to them. And again, as we look at the news and we see this happening, we must understand why it is happening. And as we look back into the Old Testament, we find Moses telling the people that God had told him, you must not touch the Edomites, you must not touch the Moabites, because these are people that I'm going to bless. And again, Israel is now finding allies in the area that it wants to relate to and make treaties with. It is amazing, for instance, in the last couple of years, that they've been able to make such a close relationship with the king of Jordan. It's been amazing that they've been able to make a close relationship even with Egypt. President Sadat of Egypt visited Israel, and they made a great relationship with them and entered into a good treaty with them. Whereas other countries threatening to destroy them, well, they have to move against these countries and protect themselves. But they also have friends in the area as well. And God is saying to them, I'm going to bless those friends because they've helped you in this particular way. So Moses is instructing his people and making them ready for the entry into the promised land. He knows he's not going to be going in there with them, but he wants to be sure that their relationships are right. And he says to them something very interesting. He said, God showed me all these details when I was on Mount Horeb, the mountain where you received the 10 Commandments. Yes, God wrote the 10 Commandments, and I've placed these things in the ark where you can always have them as a reminder of what God has said. But God also spoke to me on Mount Horeb and showed me many other things which I've been trying to release to you and show to you as we've been progressing through the wilderness. One of the things, of course, that he brings out very clearly is this system of judges. He set up this system, which is a marvelous system. See, every 10 families would have a judge that they could relate to. And then those judges getting together, every 10 judges would have another rank above them that they could relate to. And gradually information from the very bottom of the society could be transferred to the top. If somebody had a problem, they would go to their judge. If he couldn't answer it, he would go to the one above him. If he couldn't answer it, he'd go to the one above him. The information and questions could rise right to the very top. And in the same way, instructions could be passed all the way down as well. It's a wonderful system of government that Moses developed. And Moses said, although he'd been advised by his father-in-law to set up this system, it is something that God had actually shown him as well when he was on Mount Horeb. So we think about these things and we thank God for the way God has instructed Moses in doing this and how he is preparing his people for entry into the promised land of Canaan when they would finally arrive there. We'll stop here today and may God bless each one of you. Amen.